So we're going to have a walkthrough of my husband's budget in the new planner so that you can sort of see how I've laid things out in the new planner and how the new planner works. Just FYI, the buy now planners have all sold. The last one sold last night. Thank you very much. So you are just now on to pre-orders. For those that aren't sure how pre-order works, when you go on to my Ko-Fi shop and you see the planner there, it does say pre-order, and you click on it. So you put in the amount that you'd like to pay. The minimum is £25. That is the cheapest that I can do it. And then you add it to cart. So at the bottom of the description, it does say pre-orders will close on the 12th of September. So the reason I've chosen the 12th of September is it gives anybody a chance. If they need to save up for it, they can do. And I've closed it on the 12th of September because after that I go to Norway for 2 weeks. So the shop will be going on to holiday mode anyway. And then deliveries will be from mid-October. So I come back to work the first week of October, which then hopefully all the books should be here. And then all I've got to do is just pack them and start sending them out. So that's the way that is going to work. Okay, so that is, it's really simple. You just add to cart. It goes in your cart. You fill in all your details. And then you can pay by card, Apple Pay or bank, and then just click the pay now. So it's really simple to do that. Okay, so anyway, all the links will be down below to the Ko-Fi shop. Yeah, you just saw my shopping list there. So I have a plan. So this is my husband's one that I've started for him. He has taken a big debt on last month and has asked me to do his budget. So yeah, last month I'd printed these off myself at home and then just scribbled everything down. So in the book, you're going to get your 2 calendars, your 2026 and your 2027. I did and ah about doing 2025 because the people that were buying it now were still 6 months. Yeah. I decided against it and went for 2026, 2027. So that people that are pre-ordering, they might be wanting to start it in January. And then you've got, yeah, the 2 years. So that's why I've gone for 2026, 2027. The birthday tracker, obviously, self-explanatory. Write down your birthdays, anniversaries, anything you need to remember. And then you've got your sinking funds tracker. So in my husband's at the moment, I've only got glasses, car, glasses and funeral. He's not really saving up for anything specific. The car is just literally for car maintenance, MOT, and whatnot. His glasses, I think he's due his optician's appointment next year. So he's probably going to need new glasses. So we'll start saving now for that. And then the funeral is just an extra one that I have added. And we'll start making a build up on paying for a funeral. So I haven't put any due dates in yet. But what I would normally do is, let's just get a scribbling piece. What I would normally do is say the car, and let's say it's due, we need this by June 2026. And we want £500. So the way this works is I can work out now, if it was June 2026 we needed £500 by, you would take your £500, it's 12 months, so you would divide that by 12, which would give you £42. So you would need to put £42 per month aside to reach that goal. Okay, so that's what this is here for. So you can write down your goal amounts, what it's for, the due date, and then you can work out how much you need to put in each month to be able to save that amount so you don't get muddled up. So that's what that's there for. And then on to the bill tracker. So I have put in his bills. So he's got his car tax, which is due on the 1st. It's paid monthly. You've got the amount in there, and does it auto renew? So there's a tick because it auto renews. Car insurance is due on the 16th. It's paid monthly, and that's £28.80, but it does not auto renew. So there is a cross there. Boat insurance is monthly. It does auto renew, and I just leave it on auto renew, that insurance, because I always forget about it. And then his phone is on the 27th. It's paid monthly. It's £79.49. And that doesn't renew because obviously at the end of his contract he renews his contract. I did get an email yesterday, so I have forgotten one, and it's a new one that he took out last month, and that is for his welding gas, so I need to add that one in. Then subscriptions, obviously my husband doesn't have Netflix, Now TV, all that sort of stuff. He's not very digitally minded, so he doesn't have things like that. But he does have a Morris classic car subscription, which comes in December, and that is £49.50. That's paid annually, and that does auto renew, and that just comes out of his classic car fund. He does have a 1930s Morris 10-4 for those that yeah, don't know what Morris is. It's a classic car, and half of it is in my lounge. Yes, say no more. So on to the debt and savings tracker. Now I was going to do debt and savings, but some people might not have any debt and they've just got savings. Some people might have a lot of debt and no savings. So yeah, I was like, oh, which way around do I do it? So I've just done it debt/savings. So you can use it for debt or you can use it for savings. So this side of the page I'm using as my husband's debt. This is the yacht that he bought for £25,000. He hasn't taken a loan out. He's actually buying it off a friend. So as long as he pays his mortgage, he's happy. So the minimum payment they've agreed on is £500 a month. My husband said, if I pay more, I'm going to pay more, and they're happy with that. So that's the agreement that they have made. So last month we did pay £1,000, and then this month we have paid £500. We do have another boat to sell, which is worth about £6,000. So when that does sell, that whole £6,000 will just go straight to Colin, and then it's out of the way. It won't be spent. So yeah, we have got other things in the pipeline, but it's just like when they sell, yeah. And then this side I'm using has his savings. So I haven't written anything in there at the minute because it is, at the moment, it's just sat in my dormant HSBC account, which is keeping it open. They keep trying to close it, and I'm like, no, you know what? I'm not closing my HSBC. I have had that since I was 11 years old. You are not closing it. So, yeah, so I've just putting his savings into there for the moment. So I haven't written HSBC in there because I want to try and get him an ISA and then shift it over, and then he's earning more interest. But it is in an interest, it's a bonus saver. So if you don't draw the money out, you get an extra interest payment. So it's earning something at the minute. So as the end of last month, there was £559.94 in his savings pot. I have put £200 in, I just haven't written it in yet. Goals page, I don't normally bother with goals. I prefer to use the to-do list. It's more in my face there than it is here. But some people do like to write goals in here. I think Sam from S&R Budget, she was mentioning she'd put quotes in here, like affirmation quotes, inspirational quotes, whatever. I think that's a really good idea. So yeah, so that's what Sam's doing. And then we've got the categories. So I've broken down everything that I can work out what he spends. Because I don't normally micromanage my husband, but he's asked me to micromanage. So I'm like, oh, really? So obviously we've got the debt there. We've got the savings. We've got bills. We've got the car tax, car insurance, boat insurance, phone, house. So that house is the housekeeping money that he pays me, which goes towards his contribution towards the food, the coal, the yacht club, and the joint holidays. And then my injection. So he has spent a lot of money on himself over the years. And when I was mentioning the Mounjaro injection, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it because it's too much money. It's not within my budget. He turned around and he said, well, I've spent enough money on myself. He said, I will pay for it. So my husband is paying for my injections. So work meals, he's within the same company, but he used to work in a respite house. So in the respite house, the company used to buy the food shopping, and they used to just make one meal for all the clients and the staff. So he never had to buy food, but he's actually changed house now, and he's gone into a supported living house. So obviously then the client buys their own food, so the staff have to buy their own food. So now he's got work meals to buy, which is causing him an absolute headache. We've got car then, so we've got MOT, maintenance and fuel in that section. And then health and beauty. Now my husband is, yes, he is very vain. He's vainer than me. He has his nails. I don't do my nails. My nails are quite strong enough, and I found that acrylics actually knacker my nails. So I don't bother with my nails. Hair. He does like having his hair done. In fact, he's just spending 300 and something pounds on having hair extensions. Yes. Me, I don't have my hair cut for about 3 years. The last time I had my hair cut was Christmas, and I asked my husband to cut 6 inches off the bottom. And it's still halfway down my back. So, yes. So, beauty. He's finished now, but last couple of years, he's been having laser removal treatment for his beard. Ever since I met him when I was 15. I'm 50 now. He's hated his beard. He's absolutely hated it. He hates shaving. When he has tried to grow it, but when he grows it, it comes out in 2 different colours and patchy, and it just looks a mess. So he has had laser removal treatment on that. So of course, because of the treatments, he had to stay out in the sun, and he had to wear SPF face creams and stuff like that. So he still does it. And then Botox. Yes, he does have Botox. I tell you, honestly, he is more vain than me, but he's jealous because I'm 50 and I haven't got a wrinkle. Yeah, so he does have Botox. He was supposed to have gone on Monday, but the guy rang him up and he's busted his finger. So, yeah. So he's not gone for that this Monday, so I don't know when he'll be going for his Botox. And then obviously clothes. Like I say, when I said, you know, he has turned around to me, he said he has spent a lot of money on himself. He has, because the laser treatment removal wasn't cheap. Like I say, it took about 2 years for the whole treatment, and it was every month, and it was a good chunk every month. couple of years ago, he had his ears pinned back because he's always had sticky out ears and he hates it. So he has had them pinned back as well. So, yeah, he has spent a lot of money on himself, to be fair. And then, obviously, with his Botox as well. So, yeah, I'm just getting a bit back. His fags, yes, he does smoke. I keep trying to get him onto the vapes, but no, it's not happening every time I try. He'll do it for about a week and then gets fed up and goes back to the fags. And I keep saying to him, if you drop the fags, you won't have the wrinkles. He doesn't believe me, but honestly, yes, smoking, alcohol, too much sun gives you wrinkles. And believe me, he's done all three. His Morris, so that's his classic car. And then the boat and jetty, so that's for any repairs to the boats, any repairs to the jetties. Now, we are not a normal family. We do not live in a house. We live on a boat. So we do not have things like mortgage, council tax, rent, electricity bills, water bills, gas bills. Yeah, we don't have that. So we are not a normal family. So my budget and my husband's budgets will never look anything like everybody else's. We have just random things like solar panel charges and things like that, gas bottles, yacht club fees, boat repairs, jetty repairs. Yeah. So then we have bare bones. Now, I haven't filled this in yet, simply because it's a new budget and I don't like to do bare bones on a new budget. Simply because everything's changing for the next few months. His budget will change significantly depending on where I just need to tweak. So each month I will be tweaking. I'll be looking at what he spent, what he needs, and then doing the tweaks. So I always say it takes about 6 months to settle down and get into a routine that works. You're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. I'm 3 years down the line and I still make mistakes and I still change my budget monthly. So no, I haven't done a bare bones yet. I will run through one just to show you how I do sort of figure it out. So we've started in the month of July in the book, so I've just written July. He is paid monthly, so I've just started the month on the Monday to Sunday, put in the dates. So I put in when he got paid. This time is payday for this month. We are in the Isle of Man next week. So that's what the IOM is, Isle of Man. I haven't put anything else, obviously, because I was doing this video. And I don't want to put anything personal into it for now. So that's why it is blank. So his monthly budget. So this is what I've worked out this month. So his actual month wage this month was quite low. It's normally 3,000 plus. And that is with his NVQ3 lift in the pay. So yeah, we're not sure why, but it's a good £500 lower than it normally is. So yeah, so that's what I've had to work on. So I've gone with the minimum payment this month at £500 in his debt, which has brought him down to 2,043. Then I've put £200 into his savings, which brought us down to 1,843.57. Then I've gone into his bills, so his car tax, car insurance, boat insurance, his phone, housekeeping, which comes to me, and then my injection, £150. So that was £613.10. So that's brought him down to 1,230. In his variable spending, I've allowed him £100 for his work food for the month. £60 for fuel. I have lowered it this month because we are away for a week in the Isle of Man, so obviously his car's not going to be used for a week. His fags I have upped to 120. I'm fuming, but it is what it is. It is actually less than what he usually spends. But I have told him he needs to curb it. He is literally a chain smoker. I said, you need to curb it because you cannot afford it. So he has been good. He has cut back slightly. I think he went over budget by 1 pack of Baccy last month. So that wasn't too bad because I really did cut him back to like 1 pack a week. And then I've put £250 into his buffer pot. So that comes to £530 and he's got £700 left there. And challenges I haven't bothered with at the moment. He does have some challenges left, which is using the cash that's left over each week from this section. I am giving him cash. Now, I'm normally a digital stuffer and literally only have £20 a week in cash. My husband works better with cash. It makes him think. And I've told him, you've only got what's in your purse. And I'm feeding him weekly with that cash, not monthly. Because I'm not daft. So I've told him, you can't use your bank card. If you need to use your bank card, you're going to have to ring me and I'll have to transfer money into it. So because he knows, in his brain, he thinks there's no money in his bank account, so he can't use his card because he doesn't have an overdraft on there. It's forcing him to be mindful of what he is spending because he's only got the cash that he can physically see in his purse. So it is working. It did work last month. He was panicking. And to be honest, he saved out of what I gave him last month, which was, can I find it? No, I can't find it. Never mind. What had I given him? £60 a week times 4, because it was only 4 weeks. So he had £240 in cash for the month, and he's actually put in, out of that, 96. So he's actually only spent 144 over the 4 weeks. £36 a week. So because he was having to work off this cash in his purse and being physically mindful of what he was spending, he's actually only spent half of his allowance, and he spent the whole month whinging at me, I've no money, I feel like I've no money. And I'm like, but you have. You're just not spending it. You're just not spending it on rubbish and sweets and extra fags and, yeah, because you're being mindful. You've been saving nearly half of it into your challenges each week. And when we got to the end of the month, and I said, you've put £96 into challenges throughout this month that you haven't spent, that you wouldn't have normally spent. And he was quite shocked at that. So I think it is rubbing off on him. It is working. So anyway, into his sinking funds, we have gone with nails at £20, hair at £30, clothes at £20, health at £10, Botox at £50, social at £20, boat and jetty 100, Morris 100, holidays 50, car 40, classes 10, and funeral 10. These parts, the nails, hair, clothes, health, and Botox, I have emptied. Just to pay for his hair, which he's having done on Thursday, apparently, before we go to the Isle of Man. So, right, okay. So I've had to empty all of these pots to fund that. So that's where that is. And then holidays, he did have a little bit of rollover, which I'll show you, which we've just put aside, ready for going to the Isle of Man. So that left him with £240.47. didn't quite work out because I had to put an extra £60 towards his hair to fund that. So it's actually, he was left with £190. So expense tracker is sat ready for anything he spends, which while I will do that with him when I see him when he comes home from work, because he's actually at work. He's at work for 2 days solid. So we've gone into the weekly check-in here now. So his wages came in at 2,543.57. God, I can't speak this morning. And then the rollover from last month was £271.92. So I said to him, what do you want to do with that money that you had left over from last month? He decided he wanted £40 going back into his nails, so he can have his nails done before he goes to Isle of Man. Yeah, I'm shaking my head. You can't see my head, but I am rolling my eyes and shaking my head. And then the other £230 he wanted to go into the holiday fund for the Isle of Man. So that's gone into there. So we started off with £2,815.49. We have paid Colin £500. The housekeeping has gone out. My injection has been moved over, and DVLA, that's his car tax, that's gone out. So this money here, £613.10, that has stayed in his current account, ready for the bills to be paid. Then I've drawn this money out in cash, so £100 for his work food, £60 for his fuel, and £120 for his ciggies, which I have split up into the weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. Let me get it, then we can show you. So he's got week 1, which is obviously now in his pocket. Week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. So each week I will take this money, I will take the money that he's got left over, and any of that will go into his challenges, and then I will replenish with the next week. Obviously we are going to the Isle of Man next week, so he will get some of this. He won't get all of it, but he will get some of it. Okay, so then what have we done? We have put £200 into the savings. So his start total was 560. We've deposited 200, and his end total is 760. Now that has gone over to my HSBC, but I've got him a little 100 envelope savings challenge there, which saves 5,050. The little honey pots. So I've crossed off the 200 there. Then I've gone into his sinking funds. So his sinking funds are here, and these are all the start totals. This is what I've deposited, and this is what I've taken out. So you can see I've emptied all of those. So I've emptied last month's and what I've put in this month. So hair had £40 in it. I've taken out £40, so it's gone back to 0. Nails does have £40 in because that's where he wanted some of that to go to. In his Morris, he does have 1,913. That is sat in the HSBC account. Excuse me. And then in the holidays, I've grouped everything together and just put it in the Monzo. Ready? The car has got £80 in it now. That is sat in the HSBC. And then the glasses and funeral and the boat and jetty repairs, that is sat in my Lloyd's account, because I'm not using my Lloyd's account at the moment. So yeah, if there's money going in, they can't shut it. So I'm just utilising empty bank accounts at the moment. Obviously then he's got his rollover, which he did at £96 last month, which was really good. So that's going into his little challenge binder. And then interest, so we do have some interest. I haven't worked it out yet, so I haven't filled it in yet. I need to go onto the Monzo account, the HSBC account and the Lloyds account, and just tot up all the interest that is accumulated this month. And then the buffer, which is 250, which is in the buffer pot. Digitally, that is sat in the current account savings pot, if you will. And then it does have a back to bank envelope there as well, so when I take cash back off him, yeah, it goes into there. So that's the basic check-in. It's been a big check-in this week because obviously he's paid monthly and everything gets sorted monthly, so the weekly check-ins from now on will be a bit less. And then the only other thing that I have done is in the accounts check-in. So these are all the accounts where I'm holding his money about. So he's got HSBC, Lloyds, Monzo, Halifax. He's also got Bank of Scotland, which is his current account, which I need to put in there. So I need to do the start balances. Yes, I've been that busy, I haven't done it. So I need to do all these start balances. But this is basically what you would do weekly to keep an account of where your bank accounts actually are. So you do your start balances here, and then you'd put the total in here, because this one's in purple at the first week of the month. And then you will put in anything that you've added into that account, anything that you've spent out of that account, and then your end balance. And you would do that each week. And then at the end of the month, obviously you've got your start balance total down here. Then you would add up all of that and put your total in here. Add up all of the spent, put your total in here. And then obviously your end balance, your totals go in here. And that should be correct. And that will give you an overall view of how much money you have in each of your bank accounts. I have put little post-it notes here because on mine I tend to do a lot of scribbling. Let me find mine, then I can show you. Let's go into June. I know there was a fair bit of scribbling in that one. So you can see down here at the bottom, I've done a lot of scribbling. So when there's large amounts gone in or out, I want to know at a quick view what went in, what went out. So yeah, I scribbled down here, you see, 1,713.82. That was actually my husband's money that was sat in my ISA that I've now moved over to the HSBC just to separate everything, because I was getting so confused having to do two budgets. Yeah, it was just getting a bit confusing. So I've taken his money out of the ISA, my ISA, and put it into the HSBC. So it's separate, and that's his money. That's his classic car money. And then I did some other moving about. Took 665 out of my ISA to pay for the coal. 1,367.50 came out of the ISA, and that went to sinking fund spends and personal spends. So I can see at a quick view the bigger amounts, what it's all about. So that's why I've put little post-it notes at the bottom there, so you can just go, oh, yeah, what did I spend? If you know, if you got like £1,000 in here and you think, what did I spend that £1,000 on? You can just jot it down here and then you remember. So that's what that page is basically for, just to keep a track on your accounts. Because when you are a digital stuffer, you will find that you have umpteen accounts. I mean, that to me is tiny. I have Starling, Monzo, HSBC, Halifax, Lloyds, Atom, Chip. Training 212. I think I'm up to 8. So yeah, although like I say, some of them, the HSBC and the Lloyds aren't being used at the moment, so that's why I'm using them for my husband. The Monzo is basically because we can have the joint account and I can sort the pots out for him in the joint section. So that's why we've gone with Monzo on that. All the referral links for things like Monzo will be down below. So I was going to show you, wasn't I? Let's do last month's categories. So let's have a look at my husband's expense tracker for last month. And let's just see where he spent his monies. So first of all, we've got a £15.02 on fuel, so that's in car. So that is a purple. So we will run down here while we've got the purple out. Fuel. Fuel, fuel, and fuel. So last month, what did I give him? I gave him 24 to 60. I gave him £80 for fuel last month. Let's have a look what he spent. £24.70, £17.09, £20 and a penny, £20 and £15 and 2 pence. 96. Now I do know that 24.70 was actually for the generator, so it was actually for the boat, not the car. So his car fuel came to £72 and 12 pence. So I was about right. I was about right. Okay, so Fleetwood Yacht Club drinks, that was social. Okay, so have I got a pen for that one? 369, 369, no I haven't. Well, let's give it red, the same as that, I know, but we'll give it red. Social, so £18.40. I think that is the only social that is done. Bills is in blue. DVLA. And then I think I did forget to write all these other bills down. Yes, I did. But they are basic stuff. Now, these ones, holiday food, holiday food, holiday food, holiday, and all this in pink. We are not counting because he had that saved separately. So we're not counting that into the budget. Wheelie bins and fuses. So I needed some new composting bins. Like I say, we are a strange family. We do not live in a house. We live on a boat. And we have a composting toilet. And I noticed one of my wheelie bins that I use as a composting thing, one of them's got a split and the other one's looking a bit dodgy too, so I needed some new wheelie bins. And then the fuses was for my solar panel, because my solar panels went down a couple of months ago. Major issues, major panics, yeah, no electric, and the cause was a £4.50 fuse. So I bought 2 of those. So I spent the whole amount of the boat and jetty money. So that is that colour. Okay, and then savings, we put the £200 in. Oh, car insurance, there we go. I did put another bill in. And then work meals. So that was work meal, that was work meal, work food. Work food, work food, That was work food. That was that was that was that was that was yep, I think that was all of his work food. So let's have a look at that. So £9.80, £4.20, 15, £2.35, £5.83, £16.89, £2.94, £14.10, £2.60, 0.75 and 0.75. So £75.21. And again, I gave him £80. So he came in under on that. He was panicking again. I said, just go with it. So Siggy's there. Don't think I've written them all in actually. Yeah, because it's down here. £80. He did actually go over. It was £100. Oh, I did write in bills. There we go. Pink we need. So that was that came out of Beauty. That came out of Beauty. So that is basically what he spent. So that just shows you can like use your categories, you can mark them out, and then you can go, yeah, what did we spend there? So £11.99 plus one, £12.99 came out of Beauty. He needed some eye drops for his eyes. I spent £100 out of the Jetty. Yeah, so this is just me scribbling what he got and totals. Yeah, how much he had to roll over. So that was his rollover amount after my scribblings. Because that's how I like to work. I like to work on scribblings. So I was going to show you quickly how I kind of work out bare bones. So if you're doing this for the first time, I would recommend photocopying the bare bones page. And then you can, like I do, scribbles. Just scribbles. So we're going to write down all of his sort of expenses, what has to go out. So Colin, that is the debt. Current amount, I'm going to write in the minimum. So that is £500 minimum, because that's what he has agreed with him to pay. Savings isn't an expense. That is a luxury. Okay. So your fixed bills, if they SHTF, sorry, happens, you're still going to need your car, because you're still going to need to go out, look for jobs, blah, blah, blah. So car is going to have to say. So car tax, 36.31. Car insurance is £28.80. Phone is on contract, so we wouldn't be able to do anything with that, so that would have to stay. The boat insurance has to stay. Now, some people would say, get rid of it. I can't, because it's on the hard. On the yacht club, it has to have insurance. So that does need to stay, and so does his yacht club membership, which is only £10 a month. But that does need to stay as well, because that is where we get our water, that is where we get our emergency showers, that is where our boat is stored. So we also park the cars up there when it's high tide, because the tide covers the road. So that is a necessity. And at £10 a month, yeah. Housekeeping, now he pays me £300. So I'm going to split that down. So he pays it for shopping, food shopping. And his contribution to shopping is £100. He also pays me his contribution towards the winter fuel, which is for coal and wood in the wood burner, and that contribution is £60. He also pays me the £10, obviously, for the yacht club. That is in with the housekeeping. He also pays me the joint holiday savings. So we holiday separately. I go on my holidays, he goes on his holidays, and then we also have a joint holiday. So like this one, Isle of Man, is like a joint holiday. Me and my husband are absolute polar opposites. So what he likes doing, I hate. What I like doing, he hates. So we'd go our separate ways. We do our own things, and then we have one joint holiday a year where we just put up with each other for a week. So I add £60 into that a month. And then other bits, but they're not necessities. So that's what the biggest one is. Injection is 150. I would have to stop that if that happened, or find some other way to fund it. Obviously, if he came out of work, he wouldn't be buying food. He would still need fuel in the car, but I could reduce that. So car fuel at the moment is £60. His cigs at the moment is 120. He would have to start vaping, and that would be it. And the buffer is 250. Now you'll notice, like, I haven't put the work food on there because, yeah, why do I need that on a bare bones? If he's going to be out work, he's not going to be paying the food, so I don't need to consider it. With his sinking funds, nails, hair, clothes, health, Botox, social are not necessities. Boat and jetty is. Because we still have to do the housework maintenance. His Morris, his classic car, that could go on hold. Holidays would go on hold. Car maintenance. So he's putting £40 a month in there at the moment. Glasses, I could put on hold, and funeral, we could put on hold. Not necessities. So this is what I'm looking at, the basic necessities. So I'm not going to start writing every single thing down, because I know now they're just a cut. So his debt at £500, that would have to be a keep. Okay. So amount saved, nothing. His car tax would have to be a keep, can't alter that. His car insurance would have to be a keep, and I can't alter that. His phone would have to be a keep, and I can't alter that, it's on contract. Boat insurance and yacht club are both keeps. Shopping, now I could reduce that. So I could cut that. And I could probably cut that back to... So I'm just thinking what I put in, what my son puts in. Without his input, that would only give me £55 a week for food shopping. So if I turn around and said, well, you need to be contributing at least £15. So I could use that to £60. Winter fuel. I could cut slightly, but not by much. I could probably halve that and save in 30. The joint holiday. Oh, they should be lower, not cut. The joint holiday we could cut. Car fuel we could lower, because obviously you wouldn't be driving to work every day, so we wouldn't need as much fuel. So I can save him £30 there. Lower the cigs, yes, definitely, and I'm going to be drastic and cut him in half. Because at least that way, if I could push the vaping, at least that would cover vaping and stuff. The buffer parts, yes, we would lower. And I would lower that to £50. So we'd save 200 there. The boat and jetty, £100 a month. Yes, I could probably lower and cut it in half. And the car maintenance, I would say lower, and we'll cut that in half. You still have to have that bit of money there for car maintenance, for any repairs, tyres, MOT. It still has to be there. But hopefully we're not raiding the pots, and hopefully he's made, you know, you've already got the buffer there for that if it needs to happen. So yes, we can reduce it slightly. So let's work that out. So 500, 36, 31, 28, 80, 79, 49, £18.50, 10, 100, 60, 60, 60, 120, 250, 140. So at the moment, his bare bones sits at £1,463.10. I can reduce it by 300. So 1463 minus 300. £1,163.10. Okay, so that gives me an idea of what he needs to live on for a month. 1,163. So we'll round that up to 1,200. Okay. So this is the way I sort of look at things and think, well, if this hits the fan, this is what I need per month to live on. Okay, so that is my 1 month goal. 1 month ahead goal is £1,200. So for a lot of people on a low income, that would be quite difficult. So you say, I want that within 12 months. Okay, so you're going to save £1,200 in 12 months. So what does that look like? It's actually quite easy. It's £100 a month. So that is the pot that you would have to make yourself to get that 1,200, that 1 month ahead, within 12 months. Okay, so that's what you sort of need to look at and work out. Obviously, there's things on here that you won't have. You might have different decisions. You might not have a debt. I mean, a lot of that is because of this debt here. If you didn't have that, we could knock £500 off that, which would mean you'd only need a £700 buffer pot. But at the moment, he needs that minimum. So we are looking at £1,200 buffer pot. For 1 month ahead, over 12 months, would be £100 a month. That he needs to put aside for a 6 month, you know, for a buffer pot. So I'm actually working now on 6 months ahead, but my 6 month ahead only looks at £800 a month. So again, mine is not too big, but again, don't forget, we live on a boat, so our budget is completely different than anybody else's. But that's basically how you would work it. You know, obviously, if you've got things like Netflix, stuff like that, you can swipe all of that off. But a bare bones is you are literally looking at what you have to pay for. Yeah, it is things like debt, bills, food, and your car, because obviously you still need your car to get about. Or if you don't have a car and you have public transport, you need to add that into your bare bones, because you do still need to use your public transport to go and job interviews or anything like that. It's also good as well if you're changing jobs and say you've been paid weekly for so long, and you walk into a new job and they turn around and say, oh, well, you're paid monthly, 1 month in arrears. You've got a whole month to work, to get to work for a whole month before you actually get your first pay. Yeah, so it's the 1 month ahead is also good for situations like that, where you're changing your job and you've got to wait a whole month before you actually get paid. Because where's that month's money coming from? To feed yourself, to get yourself to work, to buy clothes for work, etc., etc., to buy food for work. You need those items, but you're not being paid until the following month. A lot of people do say this, like, oh my God, I've got to get through a whole month at work with no money. But if you had 1 month ahead, that's where that could be utilised. And you could say, well, I have that 1 month ahead. I'm good. I can get through to that pay. So I do advise photocopy. If you get in the book, photocopy this page, and then you can write it down and you can scribble it. Doesn't matter. You can doodle. You can write down here, write over 12 months, 24 months. You know, how much do I save? If it was over 24 months, it'd be £50 a month, blah, blah, blah. And then you can work that into your monthly budget to make your month ahead pot. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because I think that page possibly could confuse a few people. But yeah, that's basically what that is. Let me show you mine quickly. So I've been ticking over my pot for the last 3 years at £25 a month. Let me go back to where we have it. Yeah, so my 6 months ahead is here, and I am doing £800. Let me find my binder. There we go. Get ahead today, because it's going to rain someday. These are available on my Ko-Fi shop. It is a 6 month ahead. So basically that's my bare bones. Bills, food, fuel, laundry, car, the vet, coal, spends and buffer. And that total does come to £800. Okay, so month 1 I have fully funded, month 2 I've fully funded, month 3 I have fully funded, month 4 is fully funded, month 5 is fully funded, and I am working on month 6 at the moment. When all these are filled to that bare bones basic, £800. I'm not going to stop. I'll still put £25 a month in to the 6 months ahead. And I'll just start adding £5 to each month. So it'd be 805. And then once each month's got 805, I'll add another 5. Each month then has 810. And I'm just going to keep building it and building it and building it. My full monthly income on a 5-week is £2,230. So that'd be great if I could get these months up to this amount. Yeah, wow. So that's what I say. This is a bare bones. This is what's in my pots. So I'm almost at 6 months at bare bones. So the more I can add to the bare bones while I'm still working and it hasn't hit the fan, the better. If I can get all 6 months up to this amount, bonus, I'm laughing. But this is the basics and that's what I'm working for. So that's the 6 months ahead. Like I say, that is available in the Ko-Fi shop as well. So yeah, guys, that hopefully is a little bit more of a better overview of how the binder works. Maybe giving you some more ideas on how to use it. Like I say, the ones to buy now have sold out. All gone, sorry. The last one was taken last night. So they are on pre-order now. Only, if anybody hasn't seen the other video, just at the end of the month there you do have the month-end count up, your month-end totals. And then at the back, which is what I'm just flicking to, you do have the year-end summary. So it goes from January to December. You can put in your income for each month, your expenses for each month, your savings for each month. If you're particularly tracking something throughout the year, so you can see how much you are spending throughout the year, things like takeaway or your food shopping or your car fuel, whatever, you can track that and you can break it down over the year and see how much you actually are spending. Rewards and interest, so you can put in here if you have Jam Donut, Nectar cards, Costa card, whatever, cashback cards, interest from your banks, anything you sell. So your side hustles could go on here, your Vinted, eBay, whatever. Yeah, all that can be recorded on those, so you can see how much you've actually earned in cashback and rewards and interest throughout the year. Zero out challenge. Now, if you are digitally budgeter, you will do zero out. It is, if you don't, you will end up in a mess. I tried it. It doesn't work. You have to zero out. Whether you zero out weekly or zero out monthly is up to you. But there are 52 piggies, so you can zero out weekly. If you don't zero out, you are going to get in such a mess. Because you're going to start thinking, well, where's that money come from? Where's that gone? I have put penny challenge in, and not everybody's into doing the penny challenge. I was umming and ahhing what planner challenge to put in, and I just went with penny challenge again. So you don't have to do it. It's there if you want to do it. Up to you. And then obviously you've got some notes pages at the back, so you can do a lot of scribbling if you want to transfer things over. You know, if you get to the end of the book and the end of the year and you're doing your rollover for the following year, for the new year, which will be 2027, you can write things in here. So you can write total savings, what's in here, things that you need to just transfer over. So you can scribble in the back, and it's not all on bits of paper where you get it all, it disappears and you lose it. And so hopefully that has explained the planner a little bit better. Like I say, they are on pre-order. They will come off pre-order on the 12th of September, and then deliveries will be mid-October. So if you're wanting one, hop over there, go and get your name on your list, on the list for delivery in October. If you're on a low income and you can't afford it right at the moment, don't panic. It will be there until the 12th of September. They are £25, so you can now budget and put a little bit away each week up until, but you will need to get your order in, obviously, before the 12th of September to get one. Okay, guys, so have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.